De Punto Primonetti Boy Faji with a classic. This will live forever. The Chamorro Christmas melody, like we say. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The Link, Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box. Coming up, we're going to talk about this oversight hearing at the Guam Memorial Hospital. Because I know you guys were at work. Man, you missed it. That was like, whew, pretty interesting. I don't know, but hopefully they'll get the Xerox repairman over there at the hospital today. There's apparently a problem with their Xerox machine. I don't know. But it's coming up here. Good morning. 712, Senator Jim Moylan, Republican, joins us here in the KUA News Link Zoom room. I like what you said here, Senator. This song reminds you of Bonelis Dogu?
Yes. With the syrup, not the melted sugar. Where your fingers get all sticky for quite some time after.
You know, if you're a real man, you'll raw dog that Bonelis Dogu. No syrup, no sugar water, no nothing. You ever done that?
That's true. You take it right out of the hot frying pan and got the crispy on the outside. Yeah.
That's it.
Your nose is inhaling it too because the smell is just so delicious as well. You get all your taste buds going there.
Got to check.
Your senses are excited.
Got to check Chief Ignacio. I wonder if he's making a Bonelis Dogu batter this year.
Yeah. There's a certain way you squeeze it out of your hand into that hot oil. You know, you had to have that right.
I did a training with Antinati of Hagatnia Heights. This just looks funny. Taken out of context. Don't.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a squeeze move, Jay. It's a squeeze move.
There you go. It's part of my cross fitness.
Yeah, so you get the Bonelis Dogu batter, and then you basically squeeze it, and it comes out like that. That's what we're mimicking here. Guys,
right.
You got to do it with your hand, though. I mean, I've seen some people try and do it with a spoon, but I made the Bonelis Dogu, boy, I'm already a messy cook, but I was like, it was messy.
Yeah, that's the outside kitchen. That's the best one for that.
Definitely. Let it drip on the ground. 7:13. Yeah. So you guys are, it's the 8 o'clock session today, right?
We come in this morning. Yesterday, we received our engrossed versions of our bills.
Any typos?
To review.
Any typos? Did you see any typos?
Yeah. Well, I looked at the two bills I have, one for Guam Police Department saying, hey, don't bring your weapon into the police department if you're walking in to make a complaint. And the other one was regarding the extension of the special qualifying certificate for the hotel continuation of the expansion and growth. And reviewed any changes on that, and that both look good. So we should be starting at 8 o'clock to make that vote on several bills there. Because at 2 p.m. we also had the state funeral for the late Judge Benson there.
Okay, so yours are the don't bring your gun into the Guam Police Department bill. That kind of seems like a no-brainer, right? That have the votes?
Yes, I'm sure we do. And that's something the police officers brought it to our office for attention. You know, currently on the law books there, you can't come in with your weapon into the Department of Education or into Judiciary of Guam. Even the Congress building, you can't walk in with your licensed weapon. But the police department, somehow they got left out of the circle there. So there was a situation, I guess a while back, where somebody did come in with a complaint, and the officers noticed the person was carrying a weapon. They were told to secure it in their vehicle. I believe they did, but there was a little bit of confrontation there, saying, you know, under what law can you say I can't bring my weapon in here? Wow. So the person understood.
So that's the backstory for this legislation, Senator?
I'm sorry?
That's the backstory for this legislation?
Yeah, yes. So basically don't bring your weapon into it's secured in your vehicle, right? And then after you come out of the police department, of course you can have your weapon based on your license there. So that's one of the bills. And then the other one was regarding the extension of the special qualifying certificate for these hotel rooms. Back in 2014, we were looking at adding 1,600 rooms to get up to the goal of the Guam Visitors Bureau 2020 vision of 10,000 hotel rooms on Guam. And it started out but then we were hit with the H-2B situation where under the current federal government control under Biden's administration, things kind of changed and we weren't getting in those H-2B workers. These are slowly coming back now. But then we also were hit with the COVID. So an extension was granted for that initial law, but that runs out on December 31st. So we included that, got that on the floor, and we have enough co-sponsors to move this bill forward. So the industry is wanting this to happen. GVB is wanting this to happen too. We have a global competition now with pandemic coming, kind of closing up there, but the tourists will be coming back. But globally, everybody is excited to get the tourists coming back into their home, right? So we need to compete with these other locations, right? Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, they're all competing for these new construction of hotel rooms. So Guam wants to be part of that so we can become, again, what we were once before at those high numbers. It's going to take some time, but this new extension extends it for up to 10 years or reaching that goal of 1,600. The one hotel that was able to get started from the original special QC was Sabaki Towers, and we were able to have new employment there. And they're slowly building up their numbers. But we see how, especially our local folks here, our residents on Guam are also enjoying that hotel amenities too. Beautiful swimming pool, nice restaurants. Yeah. And
have you been to the I haven't been to the Subaki yet.
Okay. It's a beautiful, the location, the view is very nice. Very welcoming. Service is great too. I heard there's one great restaurant on top that I have not been to either. So hopefully they have some nice New Year's celebration up there too. So that'd be great. One thing that did break off from the new hotels is during the public hearing for this bill was the renovations of existing hotel rooms to qualify them for a special hotel renovation QC. So that was introduced, and we're hoping for an early public hearing for that so we can get that going as well, especially since the down period in tourism, and we need to upgrade our facilities. And what's important about both the bill coming up for a vote for new construction, but also the renovation, hopefully getting a public hearing, is that these are job creators, right? These are income potentials for our employees and who will be paying taxes. But we know PUA has ended. So how can we help build our economy? And that's by creating jobs. We still have our tourism industry here. GVB recognizes it's important for hotel rooms to be constructed plus renovated. Yeah. The Department of Revenue and Tax and so forth, and DOA too.
I'm sorry, yes? Let me just jump in here. Is this so? Does your bill give them a QC to renovate the rooms for 10 years? Is what you said, or?
So the renovation has to be a percentage of the cost of the property. That would be 10% of the total property cost. So if your property is $100 million, right, 10%, you would need to invest $10 million into that to qualify for the special hotel renovation QC. From that, 20% is available for you. So 20% of the 10 million that you invested. Then depending upon which tax abatement that would be best, it's not one size fits all. BBT, use tax, the taxes that they want to choose, which would be best for them. It could be 20 years, expanded for a 20-year time period, right? And we're only talking 20% of $8 million, right? Expand that for a 20-year time period. So depending upon the tax abatement that they're looking at, it could be from 20 years to 10 years. If they're looking at the land tax, I think that's 10 years. If it's BBT, it's 20 years. But taxes are still going to be paid, and the investment is still going to be made. So that the general fund will see a slight decrease, but really overall...
How slight? That's what, okay, so like full disclosure, I don't know anything about taxes, whatever you're talking about, but what I do know is to keep it simple, to me, the issue is, are we letting the hotels slide on paying their taxes and How long is it going to be for? Because when we run out of these federal funds, it does seem like now is the time to cut them a break. But it almost reminds me of all this hiring we're doing. It's like we're doing all this hiring, but then we run out of the federal funds, we're going to be stuck holding the bag. So how do we ensure that these hotels aren't getting a free pass beyond the next few years when we might need that tax revenue? And is it a lot? I mean, you said how much would the general fund decrease by?
A very good question. And a lot of folks are really concerned at that, even my colleagues as well. Our director at DOA, Mr. Byrne, explained it pretty well. When you give tax incentive, it's not a tax break. It's an investment by the government to attract industries here in order to create jobs. Mr. Byrne also explained that of all the different QCs that we provide for the island, he totaled it up at $18.8 million out of the total general revenue fund. We were almost at $1 billion. And if you're only looking at 18.8, he said that comes out to 2.5%. But what did that generate in income for the island of Guam? Through jobs, through BBT, through other industries that support, in this case, hotels. It created so much jobs that our general fund increased. Yeah, yes, we made a slight investment, but the turnaround of an investment was well worth that. So for the hotel under reconstruction, right, we're also going to be able to attract clients or customers, because we're competing globally now in Asia to get these tourists back. So their experience on Guam should be a nicer one and enjoying the amenities of the hotel. But during that time, when they're getting this tax break, which is spread out through 20 years, so if they even get $2 million, spread that out for 20 years. But how many jobs did that create in the meantime, right? How many tourists came to the island in the meantime? So the investment in return is far greater than what we consider as a break in taxes.
Right. Yeah, that's something I'd like to really, I mean, to me, it's interesting that, I mean, I don't know, I feel like we need to look at the whole QC program, because from what I understand of it, it's like, for example, we'll get like off island, like a big, like a franchise or some other type of like multinational company, and they'll come to Guam and they'll be like, hey, we want to do business on Guam. We want to open up a franchise or whatever it is here. And then the government of Guam will be like, okay, yeah, we'll give you we'll let you slide on the taxes for, like you said, 20 years or whatever. And then the flip side of that is that, ideally they would create these jobs, and then these people working these jobs would then, their taxes are going to go into the pot. And I get that part of it. But what I was thinking about was, like, I feel like a lot of these, like the bigger companies come and they get these QCs and they last like way longer. And I don't know if we end up, making the money that we need to make as a government. So I don't know. I'd like to see like an overall look up top to bottom. Who's got a QC? How long have they had it? Right. Because I mean, to me, the QC program in my mind, and again, I'm not a business guy, but just very simply, it is an enticement. Like, come here and do business and we'll cut you a little slack. But I'm not comfortable with come here and do business and we'll cut you a little slack for, 30, 40 years, right? And that's how a lot of these things end up.
Yeah, very, very good point. Now, the special hotel qualifying certificate is not just 100% abatement, right? It's just a percentage of your investment. So you can imagine if we can attract the investor to come over here and invest $40 million into hotels, right? And then their QC on that part will be the 10% of that investment. So $40 million out of $400 million. And then from that, 20% of that investment part, and then spread that over 20 years. So the investment is still great. So the difficulty and why GITA recognized as this special QC is important, which they promoted, and that's why we introduced the bill, because of the revenue that it generates. And we're competing with other countries. GITA, Mel was explaining how other countries are giving higher tax benefits because they really need the revenues because of their population over there. For investment to come to Guam, they're also looking at our total population, not even 170,000 people, which is nice, which makes our item beautiful. But like, for example, in Japan, that's how many people go through a train station every day. So for investors to come to Guam, for the cost of doing business on Guam and getting sometimes raw property where you got to start from ground zero and go through all our permitting processes, it's intense, right? And to bring all those resources and investment over here, when you can go to other foreign countries that would help you put together this infrastructure just to invite you to come to our island. Like, there's other things that we'll be looking at from our office too. In industrial areas, right? There was that concern one time when we, having Hong Kong, are still looking for places to go with these companies. And they will probably come to Guam if we had an industrial zone where they can come in and turnkey ready. A building, parking lot, parking facility there, commercialized, so they can bring their industry to Guam to create more jobs. But we don't have that. And if they're going to come to Guam to purchase property initially, get it through that property process, right? That's going to take a long time. And then put in your power poles, put in your water and sewer lines. That's a great investment. But in most places, they already have these places set up to attract these companies to come over, to bring new industries, so our new generation can come and get more involved in these new industries, right? And that's where we give them the tax incentives to come to treat our next generation and give them the opportunity to work in these high-tech jobs. But right now, our government isn't investing in that type of process. And it would be ideal to we have it down in a commercial port area, right? When we can bring in these raw materials and manufacture it here from the Asia side in Guam with our trained local employees who are certified, whether it be pharmaceutical, whether it be digital, right? Computer-based chips and stuff, or telecommunications, where we're getting all this money now from the federal government. For that, we could possibly use some of that money to build these facilities to say, hey, come to Guam. We want to give you an incentive. We have this facility set up. It's shelled, but you can fix it up any type you want in there to meet your needs. And they can come. They can start with a small employees, maybe 10 employees, but they may want to expand on Guam. So we need to attract, just like with the hotel industry too. And like what Director Burm was saying, it's an investment to create jobs. And we're looking for certain types, right? We don't want any type of investment here, which will pass and it has to be approved by our Guam Economic and Development Authority. And of course, it's the vision of whoever the governor is, right? At this time. Yeah. So that's what we're hoping to do, especially with this QC, since we have the tourist industry and they're wanting to come back.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate the explanation. And I know you got session at 8, so good luck.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
much. There you go. Senator Jim Moylan. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and come back and kind of go over this oversight hearing with the Guam Memorial Hospital. I got a bunch of clips. It was at 3 p.m. Yesterday, guys, and I know this is an issue that